So I have an interesting question for you if you're watching this video, and that is, what is the point of Xbox? I think many people have a different sort of explanation of what that is to them personally, and I found this to be very interesting to me because we come under this idea now, and this is kind of all over the place, that there's news that it's not really regarded as Xbox anymore. It's regarded as Microsoft Gaming, which seems like a very corporate type of thing. You know, maybe they want it to be known as more than just the box or whatever, but I think that's kind of silly because at the end of the day, you know, they've had like Microsoft things like games for Windows and, you know, all this kind of stuff, and I don't think that that's better looked at than actual Xbox. So, you know, the fact that they flubbed every kind of gaming thing that they had is really kind of telling all when it comes down to this. So I saw this interesting article that says, what is the point of Xbox? The platform holder has repeated the same terrible mistakes for over a decade. And the reason is simple: its priorities are back to front. And I thought this was really, really interesting because everybody knows that 360 seems like it was lightning in a bottle to me, but it feels like a lifetime ago. Xbox stunned the industry by announcing that it closed studios, which by everybody knows by now. You know, another service game report team. Again, this is after 1,900 people laid off across Xbox at the start of the year, and those Xbox employees quietly caught up in the 10,000 layoffs that Microsoft made the year before. So it's been a disastrous piece of PR self-sabotage, particularly with the reputation of these studios in mind. So Arcane Austin struggled with the uncharacteristic co-op online shooter elements of Redfall, but before that they made the excellent 2017 reboot of Prey and the first Dishonored that led to the immersive sim modern revival. Now, Tango Gameworks, Microsoft's only Japan-based studio that was led until earlier last year by Shin Mikami, made the Evil Within games and the critically acclaimed BAFTA-winning breakout Hi-Fi Rush. Roundhouse Studio was founded by the makers of the original Prey, but is now presumably destined to make different colored leather boots for the Elder Scrolls Online. Alpha Dog made mobile games like Big Doom or whatever it was, in an area where Microsoft has specifically been looking to expand more broadly for 2 console generations now. Xbox has floundered under a clear and obvious lack of innovative, attention-grabbing exclusive games. It just bought these studios in 2021. Now, if it weren't for people involved in 2024, these closures would almost feel routine. This is far from the end of Xbox. Of course, in Los Angeles next month, it'll hold yet another quote-unquote make-or-break press conference that maps out another plan for rescuing a lost generation. But be it through exasperation or exhaustion or wider industry pent-up rage, this feels like something of a thing that doesn't even need to be done. Xbox has spun its wheels for more than a decade, lurching from U-turn to U-turn, strategic reboot to strategic reboot, acquisition to acquisition, closure to closure. The good times have always felt just over the horizon. Project Scorpio will set the tone. Game Pass is the future. The Series X will have games. Starfield will jumpstart Game Pass. Now installed, the growing sentiment today is that it'll probably never come. The immediate response is justifiably anger. Closing studios always feels villainous, but closing award-winning ones with eminent talent, creative expertise, feels genuine absurd. Just as it did with Take-Two and the wonderful people at Roll7 and the Kerbal Space Program Development Squad only last week. But with Microsoft and Xbox, the problem feels part of something bigger. Traced a line through the history of modern Xbox from the end of 360 era through the lost years of the Xbox One to the present day, and a scarlet thread becomes clear. This is a platform holder that's lost its purpose and direction, that fundamentally and perhaps inevitably, given the sheer vastness of the parent company, misunderstands why it exists. Think of it in any entertainment company. Why was that company founded? Well, in very vague terms, to provide that entertainment. People set up development studios so they could make games. They set up a production company so they could make films. They found football teams so the community can play and watch football, record labels so they can hear music, restaurants so they can cook food and offer people the experience of going out to eat. But platform holders, i.e. console manufacturers and game producers, descendants of toy makers, card printers, and arcade cabinet builders, originated for just the same reason: to provide people with games, with the joy and stimulation they provide, and the hardware on which to play them. Satoru Iwata put it much better. Nintendo's mission is try to make people happy, to try to make people smile after unveiling the Wii back in 2006. So what's the point of Xbox? Well, through the last 10 years or so, Phil Spencer led the entire 10 years, by the way, to the end of the 360's golden age and the original Xbox One, and it starts to become clear the point of Xbox is to achieve, apparently, growth on a massive scale. It is to make more money than it did the year before. This will seem like ancient history now, but, the mistakes Xbox made in 2013 are, as we'll see, worrying, relevant to the struggles it faces now. We need to start with the infamous TV presentation on the reveal of the Xbox One, where Don Matrick, who was Xbox's boss at the time, unveiled plans for the Xbox One. They didn't really prioritize the core audience. It was also the first sign that Microsoft's backwards thinking with the Xbox, where it sought to grow beyond its core audience, not by adding to them, by fulfilling its core purpose of creating new games that more people want to play and new ways to play them, but by offering something entirely unrelated and merging the two together. But the issue with its priorities went deeper than the hardware. Take the closure of Fable developer Lionhead in 2016 and the cancellation of Fable Legends. It was due to launch that year. As covered in the extensive Inside Story, it was Microsoft's idea around 2012, 6 years after it had bought the once independent studio, to shift from single-player RPG it was known for a free-to-play live service game. So again, they keep picking up these things that mess up. Fable was profitable, highly profitable according to Lionhead's Simon Carter, but in a not too familiar story, and its genre was seen by Microsoft as just not profitable enough. That category is not the biggest category on the planet, said Robbie Bach, who's the president of Entertainment and Devices, before Don Matrick assumed the role. It's not soccer, it's not American football, it's not first-person shooter-sized category. So at a commercial level, I would say it was successful, but not wildly so. So wildly successful was what Microsoft was after, so a pitch for Fable 4 was rejected. It was like, you've reached your cap of players for RPG. On Xbox, you need to find a way to double that, and you're not going to do it with an RPG. So Fable's art director John McCormick said, I thought, yes, we can. I said, just give us 4 years, proper finance, give us the chance Mass Effect has, that Skyrim has. The games at the time, they're getting 4 years and a lot of budget. Give us that, and we'll give you something that'll get your players. Nah, you've had 3 shots and you've only tripled the money. It's not good enough. F off. That's what I was annoyed about. Worth noting that Skyrim went on to sell 63 million copies as of June 2023. The Witcher 3 over 50 million. So forced into making a game that they didn't really know. Obviously, they got closed down and things like that. And, the scale and things that Microsoft keeps on doing. Phil Spencer has put down the hard limit that exists with console owners. He says at some point you've reached everybody on console that wants to subscribe. What might help with that is if Xbox sold more consoles to begin with, which is something I've been saying for a long time. Matching the ratio of failure to the previous generation, the Series X and S have again sold about half the number of the PS5. What might both sell more consoles and add more subscriptions is, you guess it, producing video games that people enjoy. So Xbox has failed at this for so long that it's become a bore to even mention it. Xbox has no games, you say. What else is new? How are things back there in 2017? But these problems are all connected. It can't ship a big successful video game because it does not prioritize making one. Now come back to the purpose of a platform holder, making games, and the means to play them, providing happiness, sparking joy, however else you might want to put it. How's it done? Specifically, it's putting actual creative freedom and taking risks. By contrast, the culture that Xbox has developed is seemingly one and done. One strike and you're out. Redfall didn't work. Forget the talent involved. In Dishonored and Prey, forget crucially the invaluable lessons that the team had learned from the struggles with Redfall. You're gone. Hi-Fi Rush, exactly the kind of game the platform needs. Didn't drive enough subscribers. See ya. So what is this to tell to people? It's really just a really bad situation. And this is a pretty good article, to say the least, and I'm sure you guys will all enjoy it. Hopefully you guys will anyway. But, again, it just really goes to show, over the last decade, Microsoft makes the same mistakes over and over and over again, and they never stick with anything long term. So, for me, it's just one of those things where I look at it and I go, they've really kind of screwed up a lot of this. And Microsoft, I think, will they ever be able to come back from this? I think that's a real tough question to ask. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? But to me, This is like really telling that, hey, it's Microsoft gaming now. Xbox is dead. I think it's like you got to do one thing or the other. Either you're going to be able to support your platform or you're not. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.